to talk about the two emotions that most women have been told to prevent or to fear or to think that it's not going to be a powerful emotion, and how I actually go out and train specifically fear and fury in order for me to get greater results in my business, and also how I actually translate it into my business. And the reason I want to talk about this is I feel like fear and fury are two of those emotions that I know I have been criticized about a lot, especially from men who say it doesn't make me look feminine, or even other women who just kind of seem to be really uncomfortable in the presence of fear and fury. And for me, this is such an important thing that we have access to, and this is one of the things that I consciously train when I go out, either on my bike or on a very hard and challenging run. And honestly, ladies, I want to start encouraging every single woman who watches this to make the mind-body connection. You know, mindset work is probably the hardest fucking work to do in this lifetime, because the mind is almost, I want to say, an unknown. It's where we don't see results really quickly, and so most people tend to think that they're doing it wrong, or they neglect the mindset muscle, and then they wonder why they get tired so quickly, or despondent, or overwhelmed, or anxious, or whatever the case might be. I truly believe that we were gifted our bodies to facilitate the training of the mind, and that when you just start making that connection and you give yourself permission to really connect with what is available to you in your body, you will see how much easier it is to go and train the muscle than to sit with your journal. And yes, I journal every single day, and yes, I do the affirmations, and yes, I do the focus wheels and all of that. But nothing gets me quick results like going out on my bike, or going out for a run, or when I did kickboxing, or whatever it is. Because the energy that we get to shift through our bodies is tangible. We can feel it. We can connect to the results. We can connect to the impact of what's happening in our bodies, instead of just working the mindset muscle. Now, when I start talking about how I train specifically fear and fury to get faster results, I want to just make this observation for you as well, because it's something that I noticed on my bike yesterday. I haven't been doing mindset training on my bike for a while. I've just been ticking it over and just giving myself a lot of time to nourish myself and to find my equilibrium again, especially after leaving my marriage. And then, you know, the business has really been up-leveling, and me up-leveling in the process as well. And I'm needing to get my mindset at that sharp edge right now, because of the fact that as the business has grown, so has my online following. And when your online following grows, I just want to say this as well, the trolls come out in droves, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. So yesterday morning, I decided that I really wanted to go and connect to my fear again. And one of the ways that I knew I had to do it was to go out on the road on my bike. So since moving to New Zealand, I've mainly focused on mountain biking, because there's amazing, gorgeous trails everywhere in my vicinity. But also the roads in New Zealand is really different from the roads in South Africa. So in South Africa, I'm used to having a really big yellow emergency lane in which we used to cycle in, and there's none of that around where I live in New Zealand. So I'm constantly sitting in the traffic. Now, the difference is that the people in New Zealand are like way more courteous towards cyclists than in South Africa. In South Africa, they actually treat you like roadkill most of the times. But yet it was a huge mindset thing for me to go, oh my God, I don't have my yellow lane and I don't feel safe. So I went out on the road yesterday, and I decided to pick an easier route but one that I haven't been on before. And of course, just as I was getting a little bit comfortable on my bike, I hit this bridge and there was no line whatsoever. I literally had to sit in the traffic. It was 100k an hour zone and the adrenaline was pumping through my body, and I just connected to that, and I was like, oh my God, yes, this is why I'm out on my bike, because the fear in my body gives me access to greater strength. That adrenaline is so powerful for us to use. But here's the thing, the adrenaline of fear will only get me so far, and I know this by now, right? Because the fear very quickly becomes overwhelming for the mind. When you put yourself in a fearful situation consciously, the way that I do physically in my sport, then you get to understand that you have to talk yourself into courage. You have to literally just keep on telling the voice in your head, shut up, I'm not available for this, I'm just going to put my head down, I'm just going to stay focused, stay in the zone, Anel, don't go towards the fear, it's okay, you have to trust, you have to trust, you have to trust. Angels, just be with me. And the amount of power this takes from your mind, the amount of energy that it consumes in your mind is immense. So I know that when I go into that fear space for too long, I eventually crumble. I eventually get to that, like, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. And I sit down and I sob, and I just have to let the sob like literally shake the fear out of my body. And so I know that I've got a finite number of fear that I can use to my advantage to increase my power output. So what I've learned to do is, when I feel that the fear starts getting a little wobbly for me, I go into anger, I go into fury. Now, fury doesn't look pretty, like, let's be honest, right? And you're not going to give yourself permission to go into fury, to go into anger, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust yourself that you can control it. Now, sadly, most people have suppressed their anger for such a long time that by the time that they let it out, they feel completely out of control. They feel like it's a wild beast that they've just let out into society, and they become these monsters. Now, you have to start giving yourself permission to connect to the anger in a controlled environment, such as in your training, right? And when you do that, then what you will find is that it's like putting more fuel on the fire. It's like this burning furnace inside of you, and it burns really, really hot. Again, when you go into this level of heat, of producing, of action, you know that you're going to burn out faster than just the slow simmer. So what I've learned to do is that I'll take my fear, I'll quickly put it into fury at the most critical times, and then I release it. I let go of the fury. I only use my anger to get me out of the current situation, and then I let it go. I let it go. When people start holding on to that anger for too long, it starts burning them out. And this is why so many people go, it's not a good emotion to use. It's not a good emotion to have. So my invitation is to start connecting to how you can use physical training to connect to your emotional and your mindset training, and to do it in controlled environments and in short periods of time, especially in the beginning. So when my mindset isn't feeling really strong, I will literally only do this for like 15 to 20 minutes at a time, and then ensure that the rest of the time I can really just sit up and just cruise and get myself back home. And then you can start increasing it, right? You can start going out for longer and longer periods of time, and you can start just feeling how your muscle becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So why do I do this? Because there's always times in your business when you find yourself in a situation where it's so easy to go into overwhelm, or it's so easy to go into anxiety or into exhaustion. And so when you can learn to recognize what's going on in your environment at that moment, when you can recognize and connect to the fear and not be afraid of the fear. Stop being afraid of fear. Fear is such a natural part of our journey, but you can connect to that fear and then go, okay, if I'm going to be scared, I'm going to use this adrenaline to start taking action. And very, very quickly, I'm going to take my fear and I'm going to connect it to a deeper anger. And we always have shit that we're angry about. Please don't be one of these people who think that, being angry makes you sinful or any of that crap. We're all angry. We all have emotions, the full spectrum available to us, and we create more than enough evidence in our lives to connect to the full spectrum of emotion. So you can take that and you can go into anger, even if you have to get a little prissy at yourself at times. I do that all the time. Like if I find that I'm not moving fast enough, I'll get pissed at myself and I'll go, come on, Annelle, kick your own ass. What the hell is going on with you? And I'll channel that energy into taking massive action, and it's really focused, it's in the zone, and then I'll let it go and I'll sit back and go, that a girl. See, was that so hard? And then I reward myself for actually getting shit done. And my reward is either going and doing a meditation or walking outside and just dropping into appreciation for myself and the amazing stuff that I've just created. So honestly, these are the things that A, nobody really actually trains on, and B, that so many women think that it makes them wrong because they're feeling afraid or because they're feeling really pissed off at the world or whatever the case might be. And it's about learning that all of our emotions are in service to us. All of our emotions can be used for the greater good. None of our emotions are bad. None of our emotions are evil. It's just about actually learning how to create the proper containers for them and transmuting the energy that each and every single emotion gives us into getting epic results in our business, in our lives, in our relationships, in everything else. So I really hope that this has been of value to you guys, and that it's maybe given you like a little bit pause to think, maybe I can start doing something a little bit differently, or where is it that I'm making my emotions wrong? Where is it that I'm not actually giving myself permission to feel this full spectrum, and how can I start using that energy to create greater results in my life? And then also making that connection of your body is gifted to you to train your mind. Your body is gifted to you to move the emotions through you, right? This is one of the wonderful things, especially for women, when you start learning how to move the emotions through your body so they don't get stuck in the cells of the body. Because that's where disease starts happening, right? When you can just let the emotions move through your body and you use the energy, that is where you get amazing results and life becomes fun. So I've just put in for you guys the comment on clearance to clarity. This is one of the reasons why there's a physical aspect to clearance to clarity, why we actually do exercise, why I challenge you and push you with the exercises I have chosen, because I want to show you that when you can just start switching on your beast mode through your body, everything else becomes so much easier and so much more fun. So let me know in the comments, what are your biggest takeaways from this? Where can you start implementing this in your life? What are the emotions that you've made bad that you're now looking at and going, actually, I can do a lot with these emotions. I can create a lot of results. I can start really shifting things, and I can start letting these emotions move through my body. And then, guys, have an amazing week further. It is Monday. The sun is shining. It's going to be a good one. Never forget, only death is inevitable. Thriving is always the choice of the brave. Cheers.